I'm going to talk to you today about composting, which is a super important thing that farmers are using more and more to improve the health of their soil, and which we use a lot at the Zoller School Garden, for instance. It is a form of regenerative agriculture. Regenerative means to make new and make fertile. And this is a real shift in the way that most farmers in our country work, but more and more are doing it. On the left, you see an organic, regeneratively grown cornfield, which is rich and green, and on the right is a conventional one. So that's one without compost. The one on the right has a lot of dead soil. It lacks life. It will erode, blow away with wind. It won't hold water. It's not full of the nutrients plants need to grow big and strong. Whereas this, look at this beautiful hand of soil. This is full of literally billions of microorganisms, which are microscopic decomposers that are breaking down all the organic stuff in there, and they are turning it into rich compost full of nutrients. It can hold a ton of water. Even just a little bit added to a regular farm field will hold enough water equal to about an inch of rain a week, which is what most crops need to grow well. So how do we get that? What are some of the bigger decomposers that also help us break things down? Well, these are red wigglers. They're a special kind of worm that can live inside of vermicompost systems. We have about 5 of those bins at the school garden at Zoller, and worms do big work in them. Here's one of our other regular composters at the school garden, open to air and water, which all compost needs usually. It's full of some lettuce I pulled out this summer that was rotting, and we layered it with straw. So that's what you do. You do layers full of carbon-rich materials, dead leaves, paper bags, or straw, for instance. Newspaper can work too. You layer it up with greens full of nitrogen or nitrogenous materials. So you'll see there's some onions in there. There's some potato peels, maybe coffee grounds, eggshells, banana peels, tea bags, whatever. You can even put pet hair or dryer lint in there. It's kind of crazy. The decomposers will make quick work of it. And there's some of the finished rich compost full of nutrients and all the good things that plants need to grow big and strong. So there are other ways of composting. Here's a 3-bin system. We're starting at Zoller with leaves. Takes 3 stages for them to decompose into rich soil. Now, a healthy compost pile is going to look like lasagna. Here you see the layers. There's layers of strong cardboard, like I was talking about, the carbon layers with the nitrogenous layers, and then at the very bottom is that rich, wonderful compost. And here's a compost farmer near us in central New York in Ithaca, and he has huge piles of compost in different stages of finishing that he uses on his own farm and also sells to other farmers and gardens like ourselves. Now, worms help water flow through the soil. That's why we want them in gardens. They make those tunnels, they aerate the soil so that air, water, and nutrients can penetrate and get to plants' roots. Those worms won't do well in our bins. These red wigglers will, though. You put an earthworm in our bins, they'll die. The red wigglers will thrive and break down about half their weight in organic matter every day. We add air holes to our bins at the Zoller garden. We have about 5, like I said, at the school, just regular bins. Again, you put an earthworm in here, it'll die, but red wigglers love this environment as long as they get enough moisture, air, and food. So here's inside one of our bins. It's full of red wigglers, and they're in all of that compost they've made. They've been breaking down potato peels, coffee grounds, lettuce, apple cores, let's see, yes, I have put dryer lint, lots of eggshells. They need some of that grit from the eggshells. Now here I am adding some stuff. You do want to break up the eggshells because they have teeny tiny mouths and they need help breaking up some of that stuff. Now, they live in newspaper in these bins. So they break down the organic matter, but they want to hang out in a little bit of bedding. And so we do that in our bins at Zoller by ripping up newspaper and spraying it with water about 6 inches on top, and that's where they hang out. And they do well in that. Now, if they run out of food, they will also eat that paper and turn that into compost if we forget to feed them. Okay, there I am watering it down. Now here's one of our wonderful kindy teachers, Mrs. Hominick, adding that finished vermicompost to our wheat bed. We grew wheat this year in the Zoller Garden, and that is full of nutrients and good stuff, everything that wheat needs.